Well, hello, Bob Dandry here, and welcome back to Transport Fever 2, The Long Game. So for the last couple of episodes, we've been working on network improvements. Obviously, we've done a lot of work around Wichita, and we've also been focusing a lot on passenger as well. So we got the wonderful Millennium line set up. We put GF6Cs on there, and then quickly got rid of those and put Acela Express trains on there instead. And today we're going to move back to freight a little bit, because we have been sort of ignoring the freight side of things a little bit in recent episodes, I think. I just recorded like 20 minutes of an episode and realized I actually wasn't recording at all. So I got a bit of practice doing what I'm going to be doing this episode. So yay for that, I guess. But let's jump in. What I think I'm going to do is just start with seeing if we can increase the carrying capacity on some of our major industry chains. So what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to start with our sort of primary producers, see how much we've got in terms of goods sitting at those primary producers. Can we increase the capacity of our trains? Can we get newer trains on? Can we get more trains on, etc., to try and, I guess, make those flow a little bit better? And I'm going to start over here at LA where it all began. And we've got our crude oil station over here, which I think is probably the first station we built. As you can see, we've got over 1,000 crude oil waiting there. Now, what I've noted is that earlier I did upgrade our sort of freight hub here to a 480 meter long platform, and this one over here is still 320 meters long. So a really good thing we could do to start with is get the platforms upgraded to 480 meters long, and then get some fresh new trains on there. We're running Alco Centuries on this at the moment, so they're quite old, and we can get some new potentially SD80s running, probably triple heading, and with a nice consist of brand new tank cars to increase the throughput there as well. So let's start off by increasing the length of the platforms here. I don't know why I had that little loop back there. I probably broke something in an earlier episode and I was trying to fix it. But yeah, it is what it is. So we'll get these upgraded to 480 meters long now. We'll also add a few more cargo buildings on here as well, so we can also, I guess, increase how much goods we can have sitting here before it starts to overflow. Whether or not that's a good idea or not is another question entirely, because we're obviously already at our capacity. But let's see how it goes. Next, what I'm going to do, I'm going to replace all of these trains with, as I said, longer and more powerful trains as well. So we'll be switching across to SD80s here. And we'll take these up to 480 meters long with our new tank cars as well. Okay, we can get up to 471, so let's do that. And that will quite significantly increase our capacity here. I think we're up to like 480. So that can clear like almost half of what's sitting there. So I think that is a good option for us, and this should hopefully clear out the sort of backlog of oil we've got sitting there. We do need to bear in mind that that will have knock-on effects in terms of how much refined oil is wanting to go from LA to LA North as well. I'm going to leave that for the moment and come back to it in a little bit, and we'll see, I guess, how things are coming along there. But I think that's a nice simple change we can start off with that will hopefully have really good improvements in terms of our profitability and our throughput on that line. Next, we've popped over to our Santa Rosa iron ore mine. Now, as you can see, we are overflowing a bit here as well. I don't think we have the room on either end of this line to increase it to a longer platform length, so we'll be sticking with 320 meters long. But these are quite old open wagons at this stage, so we can get these upgraded to some new ones. We're also only running 3 trains on here, and given that these have dedicated double track, just 3 trains, I think we might be able to bump it up to an additional one as well. But let's have a look through first of all. Let's get these replaced with some new high capacity trains, and we'll see where we go from there. So I think at this stage of things, the SD80 Max are our sort of default heavy freight locomotives. We've got the AC6000s as well, which are probably good for freight that's not quite as heavy and time sensitive. They're sort of geared, I guess, a little bit lower. and have a little bit less power. But these ones, for your big primary industries, I think the SD80s are where it's at. Now these current trains are carrying 252 iron ore. Now the new ones are capable of carrying, I think, a bit more than that. So that should lift it a little bit, but as I mentioned, I am going to clone one of these as well to just increase the capacity on this line, given that we've got a lot of spare capacity with the dedicated double track, as I mentioned. So that should hopefully send a lot more iron ore through to our steel mill. So 304 is the capacity in terms of iron ore. So it's not a massive increase. It's about, what, 40, 42, is it? So could be better, but it's still an increase. And along with getting the additional train on there, I think that'll be quite helpful. All right, and next on our list of things to do is our raw coffee bean line. Now, we've been running this with one train pretty much as long as we can remember because, I mean, it's pretty short. I guess, I don't know why we made that decision, but as you can see, we've got 446 beans waiting and we have capacity of almost 300. So we've definitely got the production to increase this. So we are, of course, going to do that. So we'll need to add a few, we can probably do with one crossing loop, to be honest. I don't think we need any more than that. And I think we should have, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, we've got 2 tracks here, and we're only using one of them at this point due to, obviously, us moving our roasted coffee beans, I guess you could call it, line to run via the road. So we can definitely switch the line up here so it does use both of our platforms at both of the stations. And I think we will actually need to connect up as well to allow any new locomotives to actually connect up to the line. Which is fine. This is going to be like a regular connection. It's just going to be purely for sort of maintenance purposes that it is here. And yeah, we should be able to, we can probably upgrade this guy. What is he running at the moment? It is a GP38-2. We could, yeah, I mean, it's not the oldest thing we're running, but yeah, we can definitely get it upgraded and duplicated as well. So this will be running an AC 6000. There we are, got a bit lost for a second. And we'll be running 50-foot boxcars on this as well, which will decrease our capacity. Do need to note that, but it should be fine. And we'll get a second one running as well. All right, next up, I want to do some improvements on our Fullerton to Salem wood line. First of all, it does conflict with passenger movements quite significantly because it comes from this outer set of tracks to the other side, so it conflicts with all 4 lines essentially. If you've got a train coming from the forest to leave towards the sawmill. So I think what we might need to do is have this go under and then come out the other side. There's still going to be some conflict in the movement, but it should be a little bit better. We can also double track the entire way as well, I think, rather than having just a limited amount of double track there. That will allow us to put on at least another train as well. So we should be able to leave this playing as we'll realign it slightly, and we'll just, I guess, see how we go from there. So we'll probably have this pop off reasonably early, try and make it a nice gradual connection, and just try and lock onto that. I think this is where we need to be. Perfect. And from there, we'll start to sort of curve around it and also at the same time head down as far as we can, though that appears to be not great. Going up may be easier. We might need to diverge a little bit earlier as well if we're going to make that work. Pretty much as early as we can, straight off the bridge, I think. Apparently with too much slope staying level, I guess the entire line is going down at least a little bit there. Okay, and from there, let's see. How does going up look? Still, now, if we start a little bit earlier, going up gets harder. But going down isn't getting any easier either, is it? If we continue to pull that out. No, it looks like at some point in time, it becomes easy to go up, and before that, it's easy to go down. So I wonder if we keep dragging this out, if we can get to a point where we are high enough to go over the top. It looks like it's going to be, as usual, of course, we are quite used to this, it's going to be a challenge. So let's see where we can make this work. So around about here should work for us. And let's see. That actually connects up. That is good. I didn't expect that to connect up without complaining a bit about yeah, things not working out. Yeah, I'm surprised that actually goes over, but hey, it works. I'm happy with that. And from here we pretty much need to be going back down. So this is the point where we do break the line, so I will fix that up. We can remove these conflict points entirely, which is good. Okay, but yeah, that is all good now. Cool. So that is the first part of this done. Next, we'll get our trains upgraded to some new ones. I think these should be 320 meters long, right? Yeah, cool. We'll go with SD80s. Now, I think we can use these center beam flat cars, which are, or should be, significantly higher capacity, I think. They are a little bit higher, and should be fine to run with a single train, it looks like. Yeah, perfect. We'll get those. Actually meant to upgrade all of them, so we'll just quickly do that again. And now what I would also like to do is fix this station here. It's very ugly. I put it probably in the wrong place, so things didn't quite fit alongside it. So I want to take it probably back a little bit, back it off our line a little bit, probably sort of around here. And that should allow us to loop our trains around and actually have a decent coverage. So I'll need to pause on this one because it will break everything. And I'm confident that we should be able to fix it. Can we have that? Oh, it's actually a little bit tough, isn't it? I think we should be okay though. To here, I think that should allow us to connect up everything. And we should be able to remove this little conflict point here as well, I think. Maybe. No, hang on. Not quite, actually. There is still a crossover that needs to happen. Otherwise, this sort of breaks a little bit, doesn't it? Actually, it's fine if we do it like this because there's no directionality here, right? Yeah, they're just sort of running the wrong way, I guess. But it still works. They'll just be running on the running on the left for this section, which might confuse things a little bit. But I suppose we would have these people trained really well, so they know exactly what they're doing. Yeah, I think that works. We do need to adjust these trains, or these lines, to use the new platforms. There we go. Cool. Gosh, these silver ore mines, regardless of how many trains we put on here, they always are overflowing. We're up to 1,000 again. We are running, what, 4 trains here. So I think we will probably get these upgraded to... Can we get the Bethcons on? Let's have a look. If not, obviously we'll put something else on there. But they've got a capacity of 529. And what are we running here? GP38-2s, I think. I'm not sure what that one is. But the older ones are GP38-2s, definitely. So let's see if we can get these upgraded. We will be running on SD80s. We can find them. SD80s will be triple heading these because they are sort of on a quite conflicted bit of line, so we want them to get up to speed quickly. Yes, the Bethcons will carry silver ore, so let's see what capacity we get with these. And it looks like we're going to decrease our capacity. I think probably 504 will be what we'll end up with, which is a little bit disappointing, but these should be quite speedy to get up to their sort of top speed. It looks like, yeah, they will. So we should be okay to get these in and get another train running as well. So let's have a look. 504, as I suspected. Another thing is that we actually get graphics for the silver now. With the old ones, we didn't. They just looked like they were always empty, which was actually really annoying. So just looking at where everything's sitting, I think we can probably actually afford to get an additional 2 trains on there. So I'm going to give it a go. And hopefully that will allow us to clear up a little bit more. Another thing we can do, which I don't know why I didn't realize at the time, is that we can eliminate this conflict point here, this flat connection, by changing this freight set of tracks into a flying junction. So we will do that as well very shortly when the autosave finishes. So what we'll be doing is getting rid of the left-hand track that is going down and under the bridge. Instead, we'll have the left track from up here go over the top, and yeah, just sort of shift everything over by 1. So we'll pause because this will break everything. But this should be a fairly simple thing to fix, to be honest. I don't think it'll be too harmful fixing this up. And that eliminates the flat connection we need to make. All right, and why are things unhappy? No path. Why do you have no path? I don't know why. Can we just switch you around and you'll get a path? I don't know, we probably just broke something by doing those changes at that point in its route, but I think this works now. It's not quite as tidy a connection, but it's a lot more practical, which is really what this is all about, isn't it? Now, I've been spending some time trying to work out what we can do with these 4 mines, because they are producing a hell of a lot of iron ore and also coal, but it's being difficult to get everything over to our steel mill over here. As you can see, coal especially, we're actually lacking quite a bit. Part of the issue is we don't have a hell of a lot of network capacity to play with here. As you can see, we've got, you know, a quite congested little bit of track here. So I think what we're going to do is increase the length of these platforms and boost up the length of the trains as well. That should allow us to increase our throughput a fair bit. We might have a little bit of a challenge to make this sort of measure up correctly, but I think it should be not too bad. So I'm going to pause while I break things, as always. Now, a potential challenge we're going to have here is that we do need to quite aggressively bend this track around to, I guess, meet up with where our tracks need to go. Now, an idea I've actually had that we could also use to potentially increase the throughput here is to actually have a second track here. I don't know if this will be quite long enough though, but I'm going to see. So we'll set up these tracks here like so, how we normally would. If they will connect up. Like so. And I want to see if we can get 480 meters in here. I don't know if we can necessarily do that. I actually want to fix that because it's just a bend for bend, I guess bend's sake. Funny. So we'll make that a straight. So can we get 480 meters here? No, we can't get anywhere near it, unfortunately. I was going to say it might be a good idea for us to put a like a relief track here to allow our trains to sort of sit there a little bit longer, I guess, or something like that. We could otherwise make this into a bridge instead of having a tunnel and put the relief track in that way. And I'm really thinking of it, to be honest. Should we do that? Yeah, all right. Let's do it. Let's do it. I mean, it's just another broken line or two. It's fine, right? Okay, so if we remove this, we'll need to remove this road as well. Sorry, road. Can we force... Oh, actually, it will automatically become sunken. Okay, cool. That's good. We'll push this back a little bit as well. So will you automatically bridge? Yes, you will. Okay. This is what I want to see. Turn you into one of those. Maybe. No, we won't because we don't want the ugly AF. Well, not ugly. They look fine. They're cool. They're just not what we want to have running here. Okay, you work as well. Perfect. And then... And we also need to electrify all this as well. And then will you fit in there? Ooh, not quite. We'll build anyway, and we can see what we can do to make that a little bit nicer looking. Electrify this. And that as well. And I reckon we can just squeeze in a third track here. It's not going to be the most neat way of getting a third track in here, but it will fit. Yeah, it will easily fit there. So basically what we'll do in this case, we're basically going to have, sorry, I'm just thinking, disconnect here, and instead this track will hook in there. I think that makes sense. So trains that are running to this two pair of tracks will use this one, and trains that are running to this pair will use this one. I'm aware things are still a little bit broken. I'm just trying to figure all of this out. What's missing there? And what's remaining that still needs to be fixed? I think what we're going to need to do now is actually switch over these trains so they run to specific terminals rather than everyone running to everything. Lower San Francisco. And how are you broken? You should still be fine. Or why that one's broken. You can manage this line instead. That fixes that. So hang on. Why is this broken? These connect. This is Lower San Francisco, isn't it? Hang on. Oh no, never mind. The reason they're broken is because these are our trucks, not trains. So my mistake. We should be able to fix that fairly easily though. Where's the collision? Oh yeah, okay. Should be able to push that back a little bit as well. Oh, I'm also running one-way roads as well. So we will need to fix that. Okay, cool. So everything now runs. Or should run anyway. So happy days. This is a very weird connection. I don't know if I like it, but it's going to have to do. Cool. So we've got 480 meter long platforms now, so we can also upgrade our vehicles to run as 480 meter long trains as well. So we will of course need to get an additional locomotive on these. I don't think there's any getting around that. And then I think we might get Bethgon and hoppers, I should say, on the rest of the train. Rather than completely replacing it, given that we only fairly recently replaced these with what we've got now. And I'll just go around with each of the other trains and get those fixed as well. Okay, so I'm quite happy, I think, with how that's gone. You are still waiting for a free path, fair enough. We might actually need to add signals here as well. And I've forgotten that I need to upgrade the length of all these other platforms. So things have broken a bit over here as well. But that's okay, we can fix that all up. Alrighty, so that should be all done now. Do a little bit of smoothing on the work we've done as well. Cool, so that should increase the throughput significantly and shouldn't, hopefully, impact the rest of the network too much with the sort of this bit set up, however you call that. I'm also considering ways we could get rid of this bottleneck here where these two lines sort of converge or cross over. Obviously, we've got the benefit of building this line here that pretty much just serves our sawmill at the moment, or paper mill, I should say. Do we have an opportunity to also use that to bypass this stretch of track for some of our freight services? We potentially may. If we could maybe get a line to hop under here, I don't know if that will work or not though. So I'm just going to experiment with this and see if it will work. No, doesn't look like it because it's already going, I guess, sort of all the way down anyway. Could we go over the top in that case? Potentially. I'm just trying to think of ideas of how we could maybe make this work. I'm just experimenting here. I don't know if this actually will be any good or not. I'm trying, you know. So are we able to then... Well, you know what? We actually can. It's probably a bit ugly. But it does work. There's no arguing with that. It does work. So if we do that, and then potentially, I don't know if we need to take that down or not. You probably should, I guess. I reckon we can fix that, maybe. If we were to have it cross over a little bit sort of more in this direction, like here or so, I reckon that'll work. Oh, no, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, that's working. So can we connect up there? We've got a bit of a collision still. I wonder if we go a little bit closer before we start going up, if that will make it no longer collide. Well, it's certainly not wanting to join up anymore, is it? Oh, no, it won't connect up like that, will it? No. Okay. This is ridiculous, I know. But I'm hoping this will help us with the congestion we've been having. So this should, if I've built this correctly, which it's always the question if I've done that, this should allow us to, quite significantly fix the congestion we have on this corridor. Question is anyone wanting to use it yet? Not as of yet. But we should be able to get at least a few trains running on it. Right? Who pops over onto these tracks? So we have a few. Cedar Rapids Freight Shuttle, which loads at Laredo. So we should be able to have this run via these tracks, right? Yeah. Okay. Charleston to Laredo bricks. We should be able to have run on those tracks as well. I didn't mean to set a new line, my bad. Oh, okay. Apparently someone's not happy. Hang on. Charleston. Pull these out. And where are you going? Where do you head? Oh. Interesting. You do a bit of a weird crisscross thing. That shouldn't stop you from being able to use this. It is because they are not electrified. I'm guessing. Yes. And you know what? That's fine. We will actually replace our electrified trains. By this point in time in history, in what, 2002, there's not really electric freight, at least not on the northeast sort of corridor. So we can manage and get these trains replaced, which should solve that issue, I think. And we'll just replace all of them as well. Get these center beam flat cars running, which are quite cool. And that should solve our issue. 320 meters long. We might go with some... yeah, we'll go with SD80s. And center beam flat cars. Can we survive off... Yeah, we probably can. Yeah, decent. If we place all of these, yes, that actually solves that issue. So that's why there was the problem. The fact that it was not electrified. And we've got just the one train left, I think, using this crossover. What train is that? BVSF to Dayton Machinery. That one actually should remain there. Because that does make that crossover movement. But it should be that it's the only train doing it. So this should hopefully, solve most of these issues. And I'm looking at our Santa Rosa crude oil line, and it looks like, yeah, we're pretty much where we need to be. It looks like every second one isn't filling up completely, but I think that's pretty decent. How are our refined oil trains going? So... yeah, we can upgrade these ones as well. So we might get these switched over to some newer trains as well. I don't know if we'll increase the length. We might just up it to 3 trains because we've got plenty of capacity for that. So let's do that. AC 6000s might be enough for this. I'm just going to check. Yeah, so we'll stick with AC 6000s here. This will increase the capacity a little bit, in fact, and we should be able to get an additional one on there as well. So that should help to drive all of this through a little bit more. And I think the final upgrade we're going to do for this episode is we're going to do sort of the major upgrade on our Cross River Freight trip train. We're going to get all of the remaining trains switched onto our double stack well cars. So some of these I think we can potentially keep and reuse. I'm not sure what that one is. It just says Conrail. So I think we're just going to pretty much scrap or just replace everything to just the yeah, double stacks. And I reckon we can maybe, let's wipe out these last 3, I think. I think they should be fine. And yeah, I'm really hopeful that this will pretty much make this all cool and fun and good, you know. Just need to find them first. All right, so let's get these going up to 480. Perfect. Get those all running, and yeah, we'll sell off these 3 here, I think. Let's just check, what are these? Hard to work it out. What are these? Are these dash 8s actually? We can probably keep these. To be honest, we can just sell off the rest of everything, and we can maybe move these onto some of our like older SD40s or GP38 services, something like that. Last thing I'm going to do, I do want to get an additional platform on our Spokane to Dayton Tools line and get another train running, because as you can see, it was becoming 686. That's not really utilizing our production well, is it? So we'll do that. And we'll double track the whole way through as well. Cross River main line's broken. Why? I don't think I did anything to the Cross River main line, did I? Where? Glendale, Upper Everett, Wilmington, Dayton. Why? Oh, actually, I know why. It's because I was stuffing around and I added a an electrified train to it because I was testing something out, but that shouldn't be there anymore. I think I sold the train off again, so I don't see why it would still be complaining. No, it's not running anymore, so I don't know why it's still saying it's an issue. I suppose we could just electrify the rest of it, couldn't we? Why not? Just to make it stop complaining. It's mostly electrified anyway. There's only a few sections that aren't. Okay, cool. Yeah, that was probably my fault anyway, because I was just messing around with things and just accidentally broke. Yeah, it is what it is. I think we've got the opportunity to get an additional LA to Santa Rosa, or Santa Rosa to LA steel train on. This one is full and it's waiting to leave. And obviously we're continuing to feed more and more iron ore in here. So I think it's probably likely that we might increase our production. And we've got the pair of Dash 8s sitting here waiting to go as well. So what we could do is just split those out onto different trains, and we can hook this one up with some coil cars and add it to the line. Other than that, we've got our Salem to Everett steel line, which is running on some old SD9s. No, they're GP7s actually. Sorry. Wow. I'm surprised. I thought they were all gone, but obviously they're not. So we will get these remaining Dash 8 pair onto that line, and we will replace this train as well. So we will get rid of this one. We will switch this guy up to be there, so he'll actually replace it. And should be fine. And how long is this one? Probably 240, I'm guessing. Oh, it's 320 meter long. So let's get that done. Lovely. Perfect. Okay, so yeah, I think it's been really productive, boosting some of our production, boosting some of our throughput, and just optimizing everything a little bit in terms of the freight space. And after those changes around San Francisco and Salem, I'm actually really keen to have a look and see how our Chandler to Roseville via Fullerton line runs. So let's hop aboard. This is one of our older metro liners. They're probably going to be replaced before too long. But yeah, hope you enjoy the ride along. And here we are arriving at San Francisco, and we're going to hop off at this point. Let me know if you're still enjoying these ride-alongs, because at this point in the game, it's becoming quite difficult for my system to sustain decent frame rates, things like that when I'm doing that, even with the reasonably powerful system I have. So if you're still getting enjoyment out of them, I'll keep doing them. Otherwise, yeah, we'll retire them, because I do enjoy them, even with the issues, you know, getting decent frame rates. But if no one's watching them, then of course I won't do them anymore. But yeah, hope you did enjoy the ride along anyway. Well, that is going to be about all we have time for in this episode, so I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so you get a ding to your device the next time I post a video. You can find links to all my social media in the description, so please jump on there, like, follow, subscribe, do all that wonderful stuff. Big shout out to my Founders Club patrons Caleb and Isaiah. Thank you so much to the two of you for helping to make this content possible. But until next time, I'm Bob Dendry. This is Transport Fever 2, The Long Game. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.